Okay, listen, I don't have enough time to go through all the problems unless we get started right away. All right, so here we go. Hold up, chapter 4 review. And again, you're most definitely going to need your calculator, so if you want to pull that out, that's good. All right. Yes, sir. Of course.
Will we on this test later? We don't have to draw any lines, will we?
I'm not real sure. It'll be just like this review.
Okay.
All right. So let's get started. All right. Number 1. Now all we're doing in number 1 is we're just simply finding the slope of the line parallel. And if the line is parallel, the slopes are what? Are the same. They're equal, right? So for question number 1, we got to put it in the form y equals mx plus b. Now for you guys, I'm hoping you can see I'm moving this over here. I'm moving the 9 over here. So I'll have 2x minus 9 equals 3y. And then I will be dividing by 3. So y is equal to 2/3 x minus 3. So the slope of the line that's parallel would just be what? 2/3, right? Yes, sir. Turn it on and turn it off. No. I think just disconnect the Wi-Fi and then reconnect. Usually that solves. What? Yes, I am recording. All right. See if that works. All right. Now I'm looking at question number 2. Again, solving for y. 4y equals negative 5x minus 12. Y equals negative 5/4 x minus 3. So again, slope of the parallel line would just be what? Negative 5/4. Any issues? Is it working? Yes, sir. Yeah, you're trying to isolate the y, remember? And you find the slope. Because we're talking about parallel, the slopes are the same. All right, let's take a look now. Perpendicular. So now for perpendicular, we're doing negative reciprocals. All right, so again, I'm looking at this, and I'm moving it over here, and moving this over here. So I have 9x minus 4 equals 2y. Does everybody agree with that? Then I divide by 2. So y equals 9/2 x minus 2. So the slope of the perpendicular is equal to what? Negative 2 over 9. Does everybody agree with this? Any issues? All right, so here we go. 8y equals negative 7x minus 16. Y equals negative 7/8 x minus 2. So, slope of the perpendicular is 8/7. How's that, guys? So far, so good? All right, let's try the next one. Now, again, make sure you understand we're doing point slope form, right? Y minus y1. Everybody good with that? And now, the slope of the parallel line would just be what? Well, wait a minute. Just the slope. Just 3. Now we're passing through the point 3, negative 4. We'll look at it. We'll look at it. So now, y plus 4 equals 3 times x minus 3. Any questions with number 5? Yes, sir. Well, point slope, you just put it in that format. Point slope format. That's it.
confused on how you got the slope is 3.
Well, I just
Oh, wait,
looked
no,
at.
no, I got it.
So here we go. Question number 6. All right. Now here we have to divide by 3, right? So the slope of the parallel line would be what? 1/3. Passing through the point 7, -2. So now my equation is y plus 2 equals 1/3 times x minus 7. Anybody have any trouble with that? All right, now I have a little problem on number 7. 3y equals -2x plus 9. Y equals -2/3 x plus 3. So the slope of the parallel line would be -2/3. Now we're going to write the equation. Y minus 0 Yes, sir.
If you put y plus 0 on the test,
It doesn't matter, right? Now, technically, what I really want you to think, though, is it really necessary to put minus 0 at all?
no.
No. If you wanted to, you just put y equals -2/3 times x plus 9. But this just shows that you understand that the 0 is coming from that point. All right? You may have any questions with that? Anybody? All right, let's take a look now at number 8. Number 8 is the one I want you to kind of star. All right? It's kind of a tricky question. All right? So this is a little unusual here. Right? So in my opinion, you should graph first to take a look, and it'll be easier to understand if you graph. All right? Does anybody remember what or how to graph x equals 3? When you graph x equals 3, it's just a what? X equals, think about it now. Yes, you're going to move 3 over, so 1, 2, 3. So at x equals 3 is here, right? So is it vertical or horizontal? Look right here. I'm not asking for the answer, though. You with me now, right? Yes, my graph of x, does everybody understand the red there is x equals 3, right? So if something is perpendicular to a vertical line, it's going to be what? It's going to be horizontal, right? Now, if you're thinking about it, 5, 7 would be over here somewhere. Everybody agree with that? And so now if you draw that line, if I draw that green line, does everybody see that's what it would look like? So what would be that equation? That equation would be just what? What line does it go through? Or what axis does it go through? Y, right? So because the first one is x equals, this one's going to be what? That is correct. Y equals what? That is correct. Very good. Y equals 7. Now look, that's the one that's kind of a little different than anything we've done. So double check and make sure you understand that. Yes.
So how did you get y equals 7?
Okay. So do you see this point right here?
Yes.
That point is what? That point is 5, 7. I'm drawing a horizontal line through that point. What's the y value?
Oh, 7.
That's why it's y equals 7. You know what I mean? Vertical line's always x equals. All right? So that would be x equals 3. Let's go.
Wait, but you really need to graph it out though?
No, you don't really. That was just to kind of show you, to make sure that you understood it. Totally unnecessary. If you understand what I'm saying, from this, if you're perpendicular to a vertical, you must be what? Horizontal. So you should be able to say, well, I just know that's y equals 7. Yes.
So if it's vertical, it's x.
Vertical is always x equals. Make sure you make your note of that. And y equals is always what? It's always horizontal. Everybody good with this? All right. Now let's go back on track. Number 9.
So the answer would just be y equals 7.
The answer is just y equals 7. Okay. Let's check out number 9. All right. We want it to be perpendicular. So what would the slope of the perpendicular be now? What? -1 or +1?
Oh, positive.
Yes, it's +1, right? Perpendicular, remember, is the negative reciprocal, right? So this slope over here is like -1 over 1. So the perpendicular would just be 1. Everybody good with that? And now it's just right in the equation, right? Y plus 2 equals 1 times x minus 1. All right, now let's check this here. Moving the y over because it's negative. So y equals 3x minus 12. Everybody happy with that? So then, slope of the perpendicular would equal what, guys? -1 over 3. Everybody okay with that? And now, y plus 2 equals -1/3 times x plus 6. Yes? For number 10? Because remember, this is 3 over 1.
Oh,
So if I do the reciprocal, it becomes 1 over 3. Right? Okay, so now, looking at the next one, we're writing in what? Slope intercept. All right? Just to make sure, y equals mx plus b. Okay? So, again, let's graph y equals -7. So this is an interesting problem, so make sure you're good. So y equals -7, bless you, would look something like this, correct? And -1/4 would be over here somewhere. So if I'm perpendicular to y equals -7, what type of line am I going to be? Vertical. Thank you. Right? So if I draw that vertical line, verticals are always what? X equals. So what x value does it go through? The answer. X equals -1. All right. So again, make sure you're looking at this and understanding, all right? The y equals and x equals are special cases, all right, because they're either vertical or horizontal. All right, if you're parallel to a horizontal, that means you are what? Horizontal. If you're parallel to a vertical, that means you're what? Vertical. If you're perpendicular to a horizontal, that means you are vertical. All right, hopefully you're visualizing. And if you're vertical, perpendicular would make you horizontal. Everybody agree with that? And again, I'm not even asking you to remember all that. I'm asking you to just what? If you just draw it out, you can see what I mean. But you have to understand, vertical lines are x equals, and horizontals are what? Y equals. All right, does anybody have any questions with that? All right? Yes, sir. Well, because it's through this point. That's the x value. X equals -1. You with me? You good?
Yeah.
So if I were to graph that point, it'd be -1 up 4. all vertical lines go through the x-axis. So it's whatever the x value is. What?
So, originally it would have been down the green line, but then
So the green one, now listen, these two lines here are simply the x and the y-axis.
okay, so that's just like a regular graph.
Yes.
What's the pink line?
The pink line is showing you y equals -7.
Oh, so that's the y.
And I'm going to draw something perpendicular to that,
So you're
which
just,
is the blue.
so you're just trying to find that.
Right. So let me just give you another. Everybody look up for a quick second. So what I'm doing is this, all of these lines are perpendicular to the pink line. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
I'm specifically trying to find the one that goes through that pink point. That line goes through that pink point. So it's whatever the x value is. All right? That's why it's x equals
And you
-1.
just draw a line through it.
That's right. Well, yes, that's correct. All right? Because we know it's perpendicular. All right. So parallel, right? I need to find the slope. So 3x minus 9 equals 4y. Y equals 3/4 x minus 9/4. Everybody happy with that? Now I want the slope of the parallel line, so that would be what? 3/4. Passing through the point 8, 7. Y minus 7 equals 3/4 times x minus 8. Everybody happy with that? Now we're going to distribute the 3/4. So y minus 7 equals 3/4 x minus 6. Everybody okay with that? And now what do I need to do both sides? Add 7, right? So y equals 3/4 x plus 1. Anybody have any issues? Yes, sir.
This one goes up. Oh.
Right? Directions. Slope intercepts. Okay?
I can see that. So x has to stay positive.
The y
Y.
is what you're asking. Y equals. You with me? All right, so here we go. So for number 13, 5y equals -6x plus 9. Y equals -6/5 x plus 9/5. Does everybody agree? So far, so good? So the slope of the perpendicular would be what? Yep, 5/6. Through the... Everybody happy with that? Yes, ma'am.
So the reason why you got fraction was because you divided.
Right? Divide by 5, right? Because I wanted to make y by itself. Do you agree with me? And now we got to work on some fractions here, so be careful. Y minus 9 equals 5/6 times x plus 5. Now really make sure you know your fractions. Make sure you know your fractions. If you're not sure, let me know. So here we go. Everybody should be able to look at that and just say y minus 9 equals 5/6 x plus 25/6. Any questions or concerns with that part right there? I'm going to add 9. That crosses that out. So y equals 5/6x. Now, 9 is how many 6s? 9 is how many 6s? 54. Good, that's what I want you to visualize. And so your final answer there is what?
Y equals 5/6x plus 9.
All right, now make sure everybody can see that. Emily, tell me what's the matter.
How did you get 54?
Because we added 9, right? What is 54 divided by 6? 9. So really it's just the same as getting a common denominator. That's 9 over 1. You with me now? All right. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Wait, how is the slope 5, 6?
Because we're doing perpendicular, right?
Yeah, so. Oh, for some reason I put the slope as negative 1.
All right. Any issues? All right, let's continue on. All right, now get out your calculator real quick, guys. Let's see how much you remember. Now remember, stat edit. Stat edit. Let's go. Come on, come on, come on. Calculator's up. Stat edit. Now remember, you want to clear your list. Not delete the list, clear the list. Now, do I put 5 into my list?
No.
No. Or it'll say dimension mismatch error. We don't know what the 5 is. All right? So stat edit. Then type all those points in. Then after stat edit, I want to zoom stat. And then I want everybody to show me their calculator to make sure the points are up. All right, quickly. And then once your points are up, calculate the equation of the line. Round it to 3 decimal places. Put it into y equals. And then figure out what it would be at 5. All right, once your points are plotted, show me. Yes, beautiful. Now get your line. Yep, now go to y equals and clear that out. Good. And now calculate the line. You want to do that? Stat. Slide over. Calculate, right?
4.
And then 4. Zoom stat. Got the zoom stat. Under L2, you got to type in the y value. Under Y2, type in. Then figure out what the value is at 5 by going to the table. How'd you do? Got it? Okay. Got it? Girls? Now calculate the line. You don't put 5 in. Right? Delete. Just go down to Z5. And then you go to stat calc. Stat calc. And then graph it.
So it's just once a year. So 179. Is that our bell?
No, that's the next one.
Zoom it all the
You
way
guys
down.
alright? You guys okay?
Yeah.
Good. What's now I told you to do 5.
Right in there.
With me? Okay, somebody give me the equation real quick. Go ahead.
Negative 9.18x plus 4. 5.
Is it 5 or 4?
Yes, it's 5.46.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Now remember, also technically, I said we want to round it to 3 decimal places. But if you did 2 by accident, do I care?
No.
No, I just want you listening. In math, generally 3 decimal places is the standard. Okay? So everybody's going to write that equation. Then I need the answer for what would the value be at 5.
Negative 40.4.
Somewhere around there, right? If you're all, I don't care. If you're around negative 40, you got it. Is everybody with me? All right. Now, try to do 15 all by yourself. Except, listen, hey, look up. Do I put 20 in my table? Do not put 20. You're going to be in trouble. All right. Try that one now. Let's go. Yeah. Well, you have to go to, did you go to the table to do it?
Wait, is this supposed to be negative?
Negative.
Okay, there we go. I don't need anything else. That'll be good.
Are you serious? That's awesome.
Don't type in 20.
No, you don't type in 20. You have to skip 20.
20's for the next one. Mr. Strong.
Yes.
How do you do this?
Guess what you All right, someone tell me the equation for number 15. Harrison, go.
It's y equals. Oh, I did the 3. So I did 2.525x minus 21.926.
Okay, double check him, please. Is everybody okay with that? Y equals 2.52x minus 21.926.
Yes.
Any issues? Any issues? And now, what's the value for 20? 28.574. Is that right?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. 20.574. And like I said, if you're off a couple, I'm not even interested in that. It's always about that. You can't go to L3. You must have deleted. Did you delete instead of clear?
Do I have to clear the table? Probably. That's it, we're done. This is still like
Okay, here we go. Now, moving forward, here we go, guys. Come on, we got lots of work to do. Now, write the equation in standard form. Again, remember, standard form is ax plus by equals c. Ax plus by equals c. So the first thing I want to do for number 16, distribute y minus 3 equals negative 2x plus 14. X and y have to be on the same side. Constants have to be on the right side. 2x plus y equals 17. Any issues with that? Nobody? All right, same thing with the next one, standard form. Now remember, the x value must be positive, so I don't want to move the x. All right, I want to move the y. So 2x minus y, and I move the 5. So 2x minus y equals 5. Anybody have any questions or concerns with that? Okay.
So, like, if on the test you forget to write it out, like,
This is the answer. That is the answer. Simple. That's it. All right, I'm not accepting anything else. All right. Here we go for number 18. Now I'm writing in what again? Point slope. I'm missing a what? I'm missing the slope. So I need to figure that out by saying y or m equals y2 minus y1. Beautiful. All right. So negative 9 minus 0 over negative 8 plus 7. Negative 9 over negative 1. Slope is 9. Everybody good with that? And now you have a choice. You can select the first point, or you can select the what? The second point. All right? So if you were choosing the first point, the answer would be y minus 0 equals 9 times x plus 7. If you chose the second point, your answer would be y plus 9 equals 9 times x plus 8. Anybody have any issues? Either one of those would be correct. Either one. Come on. The point slope, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That's why I want you to write it down over and over and over. All right? Next, still what? Point slope form. All right? So let's do the slope. M equals negative 5 plus 2 over 4 minus 3. Negative 3. Does everybody agree with that? The slope is negative 3. Mr. Osborne, you okay, bud? Or just double checking. All right. Now, again, the first point. If I chose the first point, the answer would be y plus 2 equals negative 3 times x minus 3. If I chose the second point, all right, the answer would be y plus 5 equals negative 3 times x minus 4. Is everybody happy with that? Any questions or concerns? So far, so good? All right, here we go. Graphing. This one should be just a review, couple review problems. We go what? Up 3, plot a point. From there, I go what? Down 2 to the right 1. You should be good here. Any issues? All right, let's check out 21. For 21, I would go what? Down 2, and then up 4 and over 1. And there's your line. Any issues? All right, here we go. Okay, now the important part. All right, I've always asked you about the y-intercept. The y-intercept, now you got to listen to me, guys. The y-intercept is when x is 0. The x-intercept is when what? That's right. X-intercept is when the y value is 0. All right, so you need to make sure you make yourself that note. So now all I do is plug 0 in for y. 0 equals negative 2x plus 8. 2x equals 8, so x equals what? 4. Everybody good with that? X-intercept is when y is 0. So you just plug 0 in for y. That's all I did. I plugged 0 in for y.
Wouldn't it be negative 4 since it's negative 2x?
True.
Oh,
Right?
that makes sense.
Right?
I didn't write the first top.
I just thought.
Come on, guys, pay attention now. Make sure you're good. All right? Now, look, everybody do this, though, for me. Let's say on the test tomorrow you forgot what x-intercept is. Everybody go to their calculator real quick. Quickly. And I want you to type in under y1. Now, what I want you to do now is I want you to turn the plotting points off. Everybody with me? So to do that, you go to y equals and go to the top, remember? And then hit enter. And that turns the plotting points off. Everybody with me? Now it won't interfere with your graphing. So now go back to y equals. And now type in the equation negative 2x plus 8. Everybody type in negative 2x plus 8. Now graph it. And now just look. Where does it cross the x-axis? Now, remember, you may have to go to zoom standard again. Go to zoom standard. Does everybody see that? Right, so there's lots of cool things you can do with your calculator if you forget things. Right, just like I've asked you, where does the y-intercept? You should be able to look at the graph and say, well, it would be at 8 then, even if you forgot. Is everybody with me? Now, listen, you guys, you remember now, plotting points, you got to turn it on and turn it off sometimes. Everybody with me? All right, make sure you know that. All right, here we go. Let's continue on. All right, because we're running out of time. All right, everybody in this class, hey, you got to listen. Everybody in this class, I expect to be able to just look at that, tell me what the slope is. Negative 3 over 2. Exactly. Right? Because you got to put it in y equals mx plus b form, which means you got to move the x and divide by the y. Look up and make sure you understand me on that. Is that the bell?
Yeah.
All right. So, again, if you want to get the answers to these, you can look on 8th grade Diorio, all right? Or you can come in the morning, all right, and I can kind of show you. If you look up the, well, what I'll do is when you guys leave, I'll just do the answers real quick. All right, you guys can look at it.
How do you put it on our Google Classroom?
Right there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Mrs. Stroud, are you gonna post the answers?
I'm doing it right. No, I'm doing it right now on the video. Listen to the video.
Actually, Mr. Stroud, is this the last test of the quarter? No. How long is it?
So y equals 2/5 x plus 1. So now the y-intercept is 1. So it's not D, it's not E, it's not C. So the y-intercept is 1. So now you're going up 2 and over 5. Up 2 and over 5 would make the answer A. All right. 25. Absolute value problem. Absolute value negative 48 plus 6 equals the absolute value of negative 42 equals 42. All right, here we go. This one's kind of easy because the y-intercept is 1. There's only one answer that has a y-intercept of 1. All right, this is a vertical line. That's a horizontal line. That y-intercept is 0.
Really?
All right. Now, I'm trying to find perpendicular, which means I need to figure out what the slope is. So 3y equals 2x plus 6. Y equals 2/3 x plus 2. So the slope of the perpendicular will be negative 3/2. All right, so now I'm just trying to check. It's not D, it's not C, it's not B. Had to be A. How did I know that? Because if I solve that for y, it's going to be 2y equals negative 3x plus 6. Y equals negative 3 over 2, x plus 3. Slope. So it had to be A. All right. Now, Maria spends X running and Y biking. So that means 75 represents the total, which was C. And now 29. All right. Now in this case, you're just taking your calculator and doing 35.95 times 0.75. All right. Which should be close to 27. How did I know that was 27? Because I just rounded that to $36, and I did that times 3/4. 36 divided by 4, 9. 9 times 3, 27. All right. Now on this one right here, you can type this in your stat edit. All right. And then calculate the line. All right. And I believe it was C. Now, part of me knew it was C because the y-intercept is 10. So I knew it couldn't be B, D, or E. All right, so the y-intercept is 10 here and here. And now it's just a matter of checking the slope. Up 4 over 1. So I knew the slope had to be 4. But that's a good problem to practice on your calculator. And then 31, all right, this is how they use the line of best fit, all right, and they're asking you at negative 2 degrees, all right, so we're going to go to negative 2 degrees, which would be somewhere right here, and if I go up to the line of best fit, that's why it's 70%. All right. Go back now and study.